Hello guys, welcome back to the Beastie Room. We're going to have a rehouse today of an interesting spider, and this is one that we've not had before. We've not kept this one before, and that is the that's quite a name, this one. This is the Encyocratella olivacea. Encyocratella olivacea. Now that is the Tanzanian black and gold, or it's sometimes known as the tiger baboon. Now these come from northern Tanzania, and they're an interesting spider because this is a spider that shows no spermithica. So it's incredibly difficult. You can't visually tell whether this spider is a male or a female, which makes it a little bit awkward when you're coming to purchase them. Which I was a little bit cautious of when I purchased this one, and we basically come to an understanding that if it's a male, it will go back, and then it will go into breeding, and then we can do something with the slings. But yeah, a very, very difficult spider to work out whether it's male or female to start with. The only way we can do this is through a molt, so we need to get a viable molt in which to be able to sex this accurately. So yeah, a very interesting spider from northern Tanzania. Now, these guys have got a mixed way in which they're kept, or the advice in which they're kept. Now, some people say they're real burrowers, but the actual name that they have, they are classed as an arboreal spider. Now, by arboreal, this means anything that leaves the terrestrial floor. So we have fossorial spiders which dig holes in the floor and live underground. That is a fossorial spider. Then we have terrestrial spiders which live on the surface of the ground. And then we have what we call arboreal spiders, which are now those that live in the trees and what have you. Now, as we've shown, we've kept GBBs and OBTs in both arboreal and terrestrial setups. And this means that they are one of them spiders, as is this Tanzanian, that they will web up branches and roots and things just above the surface of the floor. This then in turn makes them what we call arboreal spiders. It doesn't mean they live up in the trees. So they will live off the floor, maybe a foot or so off the floor at the most, and that's where they'll build all of their webs, and they build tunnels and bits and pieces like that. So that is how they become known as an arboreal spider. So what we are going to do, we are going to set our one up here in this arboreal 20 by 20 by 30 Encyocratella. Now these guys don't need a huge amount of space, and they, again, mixed reviews. Some say they're quite shy, others say they're out and about quite a lot. So we're going to have to see. So what we're going to do, we are going to set ours up with some bark going up the back, and then hopefully it will give our spider the opportunity to burrow down at the base of the cork bark, in between the bits of cork bark, and also web up behind it and come out the top should it so wish to do so. Which I'm thinking is probably going to end up behaving a bit like our OBTs, where they will use both aspects of it. So don't get too confused about what arboreal means. We've mentioned this before.
Lovely bit of soil.
It is a lovely bit of soil. She's very chuffed to bits because she mixed all this soil. So she likes to get a little mention in there. You've done a wonderful job, my dear.
Thank you.
So we are going to set this one up, hopefully where it will give us sort of a bit of both worlds. So what we're going to do, we just got some nice cork flats here. They've got a slight little indentation in them, which will give us that stuff at the back, and we can put them in such a way that we create some area behind, and hopefully our spider will get to make use of that. That's the idea anyway. So we've got a gap there. So she can come in, she can burrow down. It's very, very simple. They can use these top areas here and up here. So she can come in through the top, hang out there like many of our OBTs do. They hang out on the top pieces. Or they can get down behind it and come out through the bottom if they so wish, underneath the soil. So they might even end up bringing a burrow down here or something. You never quite know with these guys. They're the baboon spiders are literally in a little world of their own, and they will do whatever they so wish to desire. So we're going to put a little plant in here just to have a little bit of something extra. Let's see how these go. Now we've learnt a little bit with these plants already, because I managed to overwater one and it went very sickly very quick. It's amazing how upset a plant can get. We're going to put that in there, so it's just literally just a little bit of something, just a bit of colour. We might well find that this ends up webbing it up and it completely disappears. So we're going to keep that like that. We're going to put a simple water bowl down on the floor as well. We're not going to go too mad with this, because we're going to basically wait and see what she does. We're going to find out how she's going to decorate this enclosure. And then once she's settled in, if she settles in the back here, then we'll come in and we'll put a bit of moss in, or we can change the floor. We can do all sorts of things. We can do whatever we like with it, really.
If she does end up going more arboreal, will you put a water bowl up or leave it?
Yeah, if she goes, yeah, definitely. That's a good point. If she ends up coming up the top here, we can then put a water bowl up here. At the moment, we don't know which way she's going to go, so we'll leave it down the bottom. It's easier to add it later on than it is to try and rip it off now. So we'll do that. We've got another little bit of stuff here. This will just give us a little bit of extra as well, because it was looking a little bland. And at the end of the day, we want something that's nice to look at. And this will give us somewhere to go underneath there as well. That just gives a little bit of extra. That blends in quite well. So then, let's have a look at this spider. The Tanzanian black and gold. Now, these are, by all accounts, typical baboons in the fact that they can be very, very quick. They can be very keen to defend themselves, and generally require a little bit of respect. But this is a spider that is absolutely beautiful. And this is one of the things that took me by this spider. I'm just going to get a cheeky photograph now, because I don't know whether I'm going to get one later on. This is such a stunning little spider. Oh, look at that. Look, look, look. She went straight into sort of semi-fret pose then.
We didn't get to see.
When she saw that camera. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this around so you get a good view. Be very careful now, I don't want to upset her. Now hopefully you can get a nice view of that. Try not to block the light out. And we go back a little bit, we can zoom in. Now,
Stop waggling your brush.
if we look here, you can see she's of this beautiful gold colour. And then the first segment of the legs, look how black that is, with a gold ring around the top. These really are stunning spiders. And this is what took me. When I very first saw it, I was like, I really do like that. That appeals to me a lot. And you can see they've got lovely markings on the abdomen. Absolutely beautiful. Nice golden carapace. Now these guys do get quite a bit bigger. This is only a young one. And by reading up on these, a little bit of research, and we're looking at anywhere between 4 and 6 inches, which seems rather large. And I would imagine if they maintain this sort of colouring right the way through to adulthood, a female in prime condition, look at that. Now that was just where we breathed on her a little bit. She went straight into a threat pose then. And you see, this is why you have to really show these guys some respect. Now the good thing is she's more inclined to want to defend herself than she is to run away. Now, I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but if you look on these legs, look at the tiny little dots in that colouring on the leg. You see the same on this one here.
Take your paintbrush out.
You can
Mess with my focus.
you can see them, how cryptic they are. They're really, this is a very, very pretty spider. Very, very pretty. One of them ones that, you know, it needs to be seen.
There we go.
Needs to be seen to be believed. It is very, very nice. And once you get up close to it, you can see how wonderful it really is. Now it's going to be an interesting thing moving her over, and we're going to see how she behaves. But hopefully we've had a really good look at her here. So should she decide to disappear in a flash, we have at least seen what she's like.
Just give me a little more.
Now, in terms of care, these guys, by all accounts, are very, very easy to look after, as are pretty much all of the baboons. They are very straightforward. And, you know, in terms of care, they make ideal beginner spiders because they're very, very simple. Where we then turn around and say that they would be better suited to someone that's intermediate, so someone who's had a bit of experience with spiders, with spider behaviour, because these guys do demand some respect. All the baboons, they are very quick to defend themselves, they're quick to bite, and you know, you need to bear that in mind. And they're all very quick as well. So we have to take these things into account when we're looking at them and what we're thinking of doing. Now, in terms of heat, you're looking at 75 to 85 degrees. They do like a warm area, and these will do really well. They're not particularly particularly difficult to breed by all accounts. The hard part is making sure you've got males and females, and we need those moults to be able to secure that. But she is wonderful. I'm going to try and get one more photo before we go to move her in her enclosure, because that is an absolutely wonderful shot just like that. So we get that right. Now the moment of truth. Let's see if we can get her in there. Right, I'm going to come around the side. Now when we get a spider like this that is very, very quick to defend itself, and she's already raising herself up, she can feel the tub moving. Is this good here? Now, when we get a spider like this, as soon as we touch this spider, it's going to want to defend itself. So when it comes to moving them, we need to be thoughtful of how it's going to respond. So we know she's in a semi-threat pose at the moment. She's half and half. She's not really sure what's going on, but she knows something's happening. Now we've got a couple of things to bear in mind here now if you're moving your spider like this. One is the hand that's holding the pot, the one underneath. Should she decide to shoot up and outside this pot, she will be on our hand in a moment. So we have to be very aware of that. If that was to happen, we will just drop the pot and let her go. We'll let her run and see where she wants to go. We don't really want her on ourselves. So now what we're going to do is we are going to very gently, we don't mind the fret pose. If she fret poses, that's fine. That means we still got control. But what we want to do is we don't want her to tear off. So what we're going to do, we are going to bring the brush down. We want to put her into the tank this way. See how, look how she responds to that. We want her to go this way. So we're going to have to come in the front here. Can we see that? We're going to come in the front here. As soon as I touch, she will spin round to this brush. We're touching that, yeah, here she comes. You notice how she's coming around nice and gently, very very, very gently. We're touching her still. We're now moving her. We're maintaining contact. Keep the lid of the lip of the thing on the enclosure. You notice we've lost the threat pose now. And what we're doing now is we are literally almost got the full length of her body on the brush. We're trying to walk her up the lip. Here we go. We can lift her up. See that? We're using the brush to lift the whole of her body. Once we get them front, here we go. She's got her front legs now on the enclosure. We can now bring the pot out of the way. That's one safe hand. And we can now move her. We want her to come down onto that ground. Notice we've not had any threat postures now. And we're going to move her in nice and gently. Nice and gently. We're trying to maintain that contact. There we go. There you go.
Can you get her to face the other way for me?
Oh yeah, sure. The we can try and get her to back up. As she's being so well behaved, we can try and get her to get onto this piece of bark here. That would be nice. So we're going to just touch her again. Yeah, just let her, she knows we're there, but she knows we're not outwardly causing her any harm. So we're just backing her up. We want her back legs to lift up now onto that piece of wood. You see how we're gently, gently lifting her? Here we go, we've turned her.
Perfect.
We've turned her.
Really get her colouring now. She's absolutely gorgeous.
Now we've got her where we want her. We can get her to go up just a little bit higher so she doesn't, you know, we're not getting that light. We just take her up very, very gently. There you go, look at that. Absolutely beautiful. Now you can see how there that we manipulated her without any upset. You know, she managed to stay nice and calm. This is an African baboon spider. We can quickly nip in and get a photograph. We go around the side. We can try and get this. I will just flick her around. You just bear with me one moment.
You do your thing.
We don't get a lot of chances with this sort of thing, so it's always worth getting these photographs now. Right, there we go, all yours.
Thank you.
You want to go around? Tell me when. So as you saw there, as we were explaining, this is the baboon spiders are notorious for being very defensive and they are often classed as aggressive. Now you know that we here on this channel, we don't like the word aggressive. It is a defensive spider. It's not being aggressive towards us. It didn't choose to attack us. It chose to defend itself. And that is why we call it defensive. Now, all of these spiders, like we said earlier on, are very quick to bite if harassed. But as you saw then, by keeping contact with our brush, we've managed to manipulate her and move her without any of that defensive behaviour. You know, she had that initial little threat pose where she threw her legs up. That was just a half-hearted attempt to tell us to go away. That's all that was. If she had meant it, she would have stamped her feet down and threw them back up. She would have shown her fangs. She would have done all of that to show us that she is not happy with this situation. As it happened, we didn't see any of that. We managed to move her over, and as you saw there, by using the length of the brush along the length of her body, we could lift her and move her at the same time, nice and quietly, nice and gently, and we didn't get any of that behaviour. And even now, we are talking over the top of her, and as you saw earlier on, every now and again she will catch the change in the air as we speak. So when we say certain words, you get more air movement. So when we say speak, it actually pushes air towards her, and then this is what she feels. So she reacts to it, And even now, she has got used to what we're doing around her and above her, and she's literally settled out. She is very, very chilled, very mellow. And I think you'll agree, what a wonderful sight to come into your room or look into your enclosure and see a spider sitting out like this. Hopefully, this will be a spider that is, you know, quite happy to sit out and about. I'm hoping we haven't got a shy one. As you can see there now, she is actually cleaning her fangs. She's just rubbing them up, so she's, you know, she's had that little moment, and now she's settling down. I love the dark colouring on that first segment of the legs. Such a contrast to the gold. And the abdomen is so well marked. Really, really pretty. Now this is a spider that I am very, very keen to breed this one. I think it would make a lovely thing to breed. And hopefully we can get a decent molt out of her. We can find out exactly whether she is a she or a he. Either way, she's been an absolute star today. Very, very well behaved. And hopefully this nice simple little enclosure will suit her perfectly. I'm hoping she goes a little bit more arboreal so that our plant actually stands a chance of survival. I think that colour plant contrasts nicely with her. Gives a little bit of extra. Now in terms of food, a spider like this will take on red runners, crickets, large crickets, anything like that. I personally probably wouldn't feed this spider at this age with dubia roaches. I would rather use crickets to red runners. And a good gauge when you're looking at feeding your spider is not to feed a food item any bigger than the spider's abdomen. And in that way, it's, you know, you won't overdo it. Look at that, she's on the move now. It's wonderful. In the centre. And here she comes. Absolutely fabulous. I am so taken. I think you can probably actually ascertain I am really, really taken with this spider. Looks like she's going to come and have a look. She might check out the water bowl. Is she thirsty maybe? No, she's just... You notice how she very, very carefully touches everything around her. That is a cool, cracking photograph.
She's going to have a drink.
She might go and have a drink, yeah.
Nope.
Maybe not. And you sometimes find when spiders are in a very, very new environment like this, she's literally just been thrown into a brand new environment, then they're very tentative about what they touch. And you sometimes feel like the soil, it's almost like they're walking on eggshells. It feels a bit different to what... Yep, she just fired one out.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, it's great to actually see her starting, you know, doing some natural movement. Now these are only found in one place in Tanzania, northern Tanzania, and they're at quite high altitude, I believe, and so they are not particularly widespread. Oh, she's going to go back in on her own. Look at that. Look at the markings on her abdomen. Absolutely fantastic. This is going to be a really, really interesting spider. Right.
Silly question or not, do they poop to mark territory the same as like cats and dogs and things and deers and other animals?
No, I don't think so. Because most of them fire it away from their home, so they're quite clean. You know, they're quite a clean thing. They don't like it all being right on top of them.
Avix.
Avix, yeah, prime example. Look at her having a wander now. It's absolutely lovely to see her moving around. The contrast on that bark and everything. Very, very cool. Now I must mention here actually that we obtained this spider from Enclosures. Natalie at Enclosures, and again, you know, check her out. She does some cool breeding projects. She's got a lot of nice spiders, And she's also one of the people that actually likes to feed their spiders before she allows them to go, which is always a good sign. It's much easier for, especially for beginners, if they've got spiders that are already acclimatized. Now we don't want her coming out, so we're literally going to just put our brush in front. You notice she didn't even notice it really. She's touched it and we've just guided her back.
She's got very pretty undertows.
Yeah.
It's got iridescence of the other.
We keep saying it's a she. Oh. We are really, really hoping. We're really hoping it's a she. I really want to see this spider at 4 or 5 inches. I think it will be an absolutely phenomenal looking thing. So yeah, a very, very pretty spider to add to the beastie room, and one that we're very, very happy to have. I am chuffed to bits with this spider.
Very pretty enclosure it is too.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. So we can keep a nice, simple enclosure. We don't have to be too elaborate, you know, especially with spiders that are heavy webbers. It's well worth, you know, just not getting too excited in the very first instances of when you first build it. Let your spider come in, make it its home, and then you can always change it and do little bits and pieces yourself afterwards. And then that way you've not built a masterpiece and then just for it to get demolished. Right, let's hope she settles in and does a wonderful job. Right then, that is our Tanzanian black and gold baboon.
What was the Latin name?
I knew you were going to ask me that. Encyocratella olivacea.
All right, fancy pants.
Yeah, here you go. She's climbing now. Yeah, and this hopefully she will grow into a wonderful thing.
See you soon.
Yeah. Right then. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't forget, be calm, be gentle, and love your spider. And I'll see you all soon, guys.